Some people loved you more when you were broken. When you were lost, quiet, and struggling, they showed up. Not to lift you, but to feel needed, to feel bigger, to feel superior. But the moment you started growing, the moment you got focused, peaceful, and clear about your future, they changed. They got quiet. They stopped clapping. They disappeared. Not because you hurt them, but because your healing exposed their own lack of growth. You see, your evolution makes some people uncomfortable because it reflects everything they refuse to work on. This message is for you, the one who's rising, who's outgrown your past. And now, you're realizing not everyone can handle your transformation. So how do you know who secretly hates your growth? Here are 5 signs that the people around you aren't cheering. They're competing, resenting, and silently hoping you fall back down. Sign number 1, they downplay your wins. You started healing, started waking up earlier, started building your vision brick by brick, even while they watched you bleed before. And now that you're focused, consistent, and finally finding clarity, they act like your progress doesn't matter. They'll say things like, "And that's nothing. Don't get ahead of yourself. You think you're better now?" It's subtle, but you feel it. You feel the shift, the passive tone, the fake smiles, the sudden silence when you share good news. But here's the truth. If your growth intimidates them, they were never for you. Real friends celebrate you. They don't shrink your light to protect their shadow. So when someone tries to make your breakthrough feel like a coincidence, understand? They saw the process. They just can't handle the result. Sign number 2. They start competing with you. People who love you don't compete with you. They cheer you on. They hold the ladder while you climb. But these people, they watch your climb and start racing beside you. Suddenly, it's not a conversation. It's a scoreboard. You talk about discipline. They talk about who's doing better. You talk about peace. They talk about who's making more noise. They don't want to grow. They just don't want you to grow without them. But they also don't want to do the work. So instead of rising with you, they try to distract you. Keep going. You don't need to compete with anyone when you're aligned with your purpose. Your growth isn't their loss, but if they see it that way, that's their burden, not yours. Sign number 3, they gossip more, support less. When you were stuck, they were loud. Loud with opinions. Loud with fake help. Loud with pity disguised as advice. But now that you're moving differently, now that you're focused, silent, and harder to reach, they go quiet. Not because they're proud, but because they're bitter. Because growth doesn't feed their ego the way pain did. So instead of celebrating your growth, they create new stories. They rewrite your journey without the facts. They gossip. Because the truth of your discipline exposes the laziness in their own life. Let them talk. Let them create lies. You create legacy. You weren't made to explain your peace to those who live in chaos. Walk on. Sign number 4. They start reminding you of who you used to be. Growth makes people uncomfortable, especially those who benefited from your brokenness. So what do? They bring up your past. Not with grace, but with judgment. Not with love, but with leverage. They say things like, "You've changed. Don't forget where you came from. You used to be so different." Yes, you have changed. You've evolved. You've healed in silence, prayed through storms, and sacrificed comfort for progress. But to them, your growth is a threat. Because the version of you that tolerated disrespect doesn't live here anymore. The version of you that overgave, overexplained, overtrusted, That version died in the fire they threw you in. They missed the you that needed them, the you that stayed small so they could feel big. But that you is gone, buried in peace, resurrected in purpose. And when they say, I miss the old you, hear this clearly. What they really miss is the control. Sign number 5. They withdraw love when you grow. This one hits the deepest, because sometimes the ones who said they'd never leave are the first to distance themselves when you stop needing their approval. You level up. They fall back. You find peace. They disappear. Not because you've wronged them, but because your elevation makes their excuses louder. Their love was never love. It was access. And once you no longer needed validation, once you started protecting your time, your boundaries, your vision, they withdrew. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to go with you. Some people only love the version of you that sacrifices everything for them, not the version that finally chooses themselves. Let them go. The deeper you grow, the quieter your circle becomes. You're not too much. You're just no longer small enough to fit in the places you've outgrown. You're not selfish. You're just tired of giving all your energy to people who never clapped for you unless you were losing. And no, you didn't become distant. You just stopped chasing those who only showed up when you were broken. This is your sign. Keep growing. Keep rising. Keep choosing peace over people who only loved your weakness. Let your growth make them uncomfortable. Because if your evolution offends someone, they were committed to your past and not your future. Thank you.